Hi, I'm Bumbleborn. Well, actually my name's Joe, but I go by Bumbleborn on the World Wide Web, and I make video games. I've been making games professionally for a long time, and in my spare time, I've also been making games, just a little less professionally. I've been making games for around 12 years now, and every single year I say that I'm going to release my first independent video game, and then I just don't do that. You know, I get quite far into a project and then I move on to another project, and then I move on to another project, I get far in that, and then I move on to another. I want to stop that. Eventually it begins to get very, very, very disheartening, because you know that you're capable of doing something, and you see a lot of projects out there, you're like, I could do that maybe, and then you just don't do it. So I'm going to try and make myself a bit more accountable. I'm going to lay the gauntlet at my own feet. Fortune favours the bold, and my hair is thinning at an alarming rate. I'm going to make and release a game by my 30th birthday, which is next year in July. I have to, I can't get into 30 without having, I just can't. I'm going to be making and releasing development logs on this YouTube channel. Just a quick shout out to GMTK. I'm leaning on the style of Mark Brown's Devlog series developing quite heavily for these videos. This is because I found them engaging to watch, and I'm pretty new to performing and doing YouTube stuff in general. I won't lie though, it is quite derivative, and whilst I'll try to branch out as I get more practice, if you're getting a "we have McDonald's at home" vibe from my face, I strongly recommend you go watch those videos, as they're much, much better. Now, why should you take me seriously? This is a heck of a lot of talk. It's got to be backed up by a heck of a lot of walk, right? First of all, I already have kinda technically released a game on Steam, sort of, maybe, but not really. I've released a small demo for a 3D platformer called Echo's Climb. That was about oh god, that was a long time ago. It was over a year ago now. It only takes about half an hour to play through. It's got leaderboards, it's got time trials, it's got locks and keys, those kinds of adventure elements. Basically, it's got a bunch of stuff in there. It's an attempt to make a Souls-like platformer, but without any combat. There's no enemies, there's no bosses, but the level design itself feels like these gargantuan ordeals that you have to ascend through. I'm going to make videos about that game as it progresses, but it's not the game I'm going to be making by next year. I'm also making a game with my partner Emily, who's a phenomenal character artist. She's honestly absurdly talented. She specialises in adapting 2D concepts into fully hand-painted 3D characters, and spends a huge amount of time obsessing over small details. You should definitely check out her work, but I don't want to show it off for too long at risk of this video no longer being about me. We're making a game called Wunderwurld. It's a gardening and creature caring simulation game, very, very similar to Viva Pinata. It's Viva Pinata, but emo, all grayscale, and set in the underworld. So you're taking care of creatures and helping them move on to the next phase of their afterlife. In the game, you've died, but you weren't good enough to go to the good place, and you weren't bad enough to go to the bad place. Morally speaking, you're as mid as it gets. To give you something to do in Purgatory, the ferryman gives you a little island, a small space, and gets you to look after animals and take care of their unfinished business so that they can move on to the next phase of the afterlife. This is also not the game that I'm going to be releasing next year. Yeah, I can hear you saying, well, what the hell, what are you making? The game I'll be releasing next year is called Echo the Oracle Scroll. It's set in the same world as the 3D platformer I mentioned earlier, because the best way to finish a game is to make a prequel/demake to it, right? It's a 2D Metroidvania with no combat and a focus on exploration. I know it sounds like every first indie game dev's game ever, but I've got to make one of them, right? Like, you just have to. It's like a ritual. It's been made for the Playdate. What's the Playdate, I hear you say?
It's a new thing. It plays games.
Well, it's this tiny little yellow console that's got a little crank, and it's got an A/B button, it's got a D-pad. In all honesty, I just wanted to make a little game with this thing, and I liked the idea of expanding out that world before trying to develop it into a much bigger 3D title. And jokes aside, it has actually helped me get a grip on the narrative and world design of Echo's Climb. Like, that world seems a lot more developed to me now. Whilst it was only supposed to be a small project just to have fun, it's grown into a proper little game. Inspired by YouTuber SquidGodDev's Metroidvania tutorial, I expected to make a few little levels, have a bit of fun on the Playdate, and then go back to Wunderwurld. But as it progressed, it became a really cool little project to work on. It's now pushing over 200 levels. Now, a level's not a massive thing in the game, it's just one screen, but that's still a lot of them. It's grown a bunch. It's got 3 distinct areas, little collectibles in places, and a few different little quests. Each area has kind of got a major quest, and I think I'm going to put in some minor little things. I'm going to go more in depth later in the first episode of the devlog. I'm going to try and make it into a proper little series, like decent length episodes that you can follow along with and see how I went from the idea all the way to the placement on a storefront, whether it's itch.io, if I can get into the Playdate catalog store, that'd be great. That kind of thing. I'm also going to make some other kinds of videos, like call-outs to design topics or even tutorial style content to hone in on some tech design or tech art subject that I'm exploring at that point. I'll be honest, I'm not super outgoing or extroverted. Having a camera pointed at me and lights and stuff, it feels weird. I tend to struggle talking about my projects publicly. But if I don't, then I'll never be able to make any money from these things. I'll never really be able to release games continuously and live off that. If I don't have money, then the people that want the money from me, I won't have money to give them, so they'll just take my things. And I want my things, I like my things. So I'm talking publicly about my games so that I can keep my things. So I really do mean it when I say thanks for listening. I now say please subscribe and comment and ring the bell if you would like more audio visual content. And if you would like more audio visual content, please do those things. You don't need to. By all means, thank you for watching, and yeah, I think I'm done now.